An Introduction to Philippine Historiography. Sources and Discourse. One thing I can see in myself that this lesson illustrates is a desire to comprehend the present by looking back at what has happened in the past. In this lesson, I reflect on myself because, like history, which examines and explains past events in a meaningful and orderly manner, I comprehend things in my past so that I can grasp the present correctly and properly. We people, like history, have sources of origin, what we look for in order to obtain the information that we seek. Human life, like history, has primary and secondary sources for appropriate comprehension, and for me, these are my loved ones and my experiences. This second lesson covers the history of the Philippine Islands, including the Filipinos' ties with its indigenous peoples, customs, and governance. It will be demonstrated in this lesson that principality and lordship were inherited in the line of man and succeeding fathers and sons. Because this custom of man being the guide continues to this day in the family since they constitute the foundation of the home. In this lecture, I reflect on myself since a Filipino, we still stick to traditions and customs. Overall, this course clarifies my understanding of Filipino traditions and customs from the past. As a Filipino, I declare myself as devoted, kind, and helpful in this class. Even though our opinions differ, we should still appreciate and honor the beliefs of others because our perspectives and beliefs differ. The lesson of the Manonggol jar represents the importance of cultural heritage. It demonstrates how, with the assistance of historians, art can serve as a vehicle for history and culture. It is each individual's obligation as student to create, learn, and grow oneself. The lesson, the Manonggol jar, opened my eyes to the significance of the jar and how it may be a conduit of the cultural and history. The Manonggol jar is a second burial jar discovered in a Neolithic tomb in the Palawan's Manonggol cave. The Manonggol jar also represents Filipino ideals such as soul respect, compassion, nationalism, and faith. As such, since its discovery in the late Neolithic period, the jar has acted as a living reminder of the country's rich history and culture. The subject of this lesson is the Laguna copper plate. This inscription is a national treasure that demonstrates pre-Hispanical literacy and culture. It is currently on display at Manila's National Museum of Anthropology. This is the first manuscript demonstrating the application of mathematics in pre-colonial Filipino society. As a result, the date of this discovery was pushed back to the beginning of Filipino history. Aside from the date, the inscription provided information about the country's culture and population during the pre-colonial period. The duties of the Katipunan of the Sons of People, KKK, is a set of duties and responsibilities that each member of the organization must scrupulously adhere to. Andres Bonifacio created the Decalogue to guide KKK members. Andres Bonifacio is an incredible inspiration. Because of Andres Bonifacio, I am learning the value of discipline and love as principles. I was taught to dream big by Andres Bonifacio and his Decalogue because his dedication is a continual reminder that anything is possible if you set your mind to it and to have the correct motivation. Use prudently and begin to dream big. No matter how ambitious you are, draw your professional goals. Once these are uttered or written down, you will put the wheels in motion to make your aspirations a reality. It demonstrates the need of working together regardless of the circumstances. Andres Bonifacio also serves as a reminder that failure is not final and that standing up for ideas is critical. Just because you failed once, that does not mean that you will never attain your ambitions. The Code of Raja Kalantiao is a claimed legal code in the history of the epic Maragtas that was authored in 1433 by Dato Kalantiao, a king on the Philippine island of Negros. The statement or term that struck me in this passage that touched me was, "The law is above all men," which indicates that no man is above the law and no man is below it, and we do not need permission from any man to follow it. The law's obedience is sought as a right, not as a favor. A good citizen exhibits blind obedience to the law. On the contrary, every type of disobedience to law is delinquency and should be punished. A law-abiding citizen is valuable to society. However, a lawbreaker who is a contrarian is a really responsible citizen.